Welcome to our YouTube channel premiere next. Today again our partner James and Mary are here for latest entertainment update, so stay tuned till last.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are really strapping in for a high-speed, pretty comprehensive breakdown. We're talking about the Avatar Fire and Ash trailer. If you need that shortcut, to being instantly well-informed about what's next for Pandora, this is definitely it. We're going to try and pull out every key reveal, every crucial plot hint, because it really feels like this isn't just another sequel. They're calling it the boldest chapter yet.
Oh, absolutely. And it's needed because the tone shift is it's seismic, really. You think about the last two films, even with the conflict, Pandora always had that sense of wonder, right? The bioluminescence, the oceans. The immediate shock from this trailer is just pure fire, ash, and devastation. It's stark.
It really slams you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like we're leaving those, gentle waters of the Metcaina Reef people behind and just plunging into a volcanic apocalypse. Pandora isn't just under attack. It feels like it's literally burning down.
Exactly. And that visual shift perfectly mirrors the core conflict they're setting up. The war teased here isn't just external anymore, the humans, the RDA. It seems like it's become profoundly internal. You see glimpses of tribes, fighting tribes, preparing for war against their own kind. The whole narrative seems rooted in this huge schism within the Na'vi community itself. And that just raises the stakes exponentially for Jake Sully and his family.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that schism straight away then.
Yeah.
Because the biggest new thing that just jumps out immediately is the introduction of the Ash People.
Yeah, the Mungkwan clan, formerly. And they represent a really revolutionary new faction. They are Na'vi, yes, but they're fundamentally adapted to this volcanic, fire-infused terrain. It's incredible. They thrive where others would just burn. Philosophically, physically, they're a world away from the Omaticaya in the forest or the Metcaina in the water.
And their leader, Varang, that's, Chaplin's character, she isn't just a new face, is she? She feels like the embodiment of this whole theological crisis. It sounds like she's not just fighting for land. She's fighting against a god. Against Awa.
Precisely. Her entire motivation seems steeped in this deep resentment towards Awa, the Na'vi pantheon. The crucial context here, the backstory we're getting, is that her family was tragically lost, wiped out in a volcanic catastrophe. And for Varang, this wasn't just nature, it was abandonment. Abandonment by the goddess who's supposed to protect all Na'vi life. Awa failed them in her eyes.
And you hear that so clearly in the trailer, it just drives the point home instantly. Varang delivers that line, "Your goddess has no dominion here." Wow. That single quote just reframes the whole conflict, doesn't it? It's not about resources anymore, about unobtainium or whatever. It's about whose god is real, maybe, or who deserves protection. It flips the whole franchise dynamic.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it creates this kind of beautiful, terrible symmetry in the story. You have Jake Sully, the human who adopted the religion of Awa, who found faith there, and now he's face to face with a Na'vi faction that completely rejects it, turning his spiritual strength potentially into a massive vulnerability. And that rejection, it translates directly into this terrifying new form of warfare we see.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, the Mungkwan clan, they don't just live in the fire, they seem to command it. We see glimpses of them using flaming arrows, tactical embers, coordinating movements within lava flows, stuff that would instantly kill any other Na'vi. They're a faction basically forged by the elements that ruined them. And now they're fighting back with those elements. It's like they're saying, if Awa won't protect us, fine, we'll make our own path through fire.
That's a terrifying escalation. Okay, so we got the spiritual battleground laid out. But how does this religious crisis connect to the actual, dirty politics on Pandora? Because, the past films had a pretty clear external bad guy, the humans, led by Quaritch. Now the antagonism feels way more complex, Messier.
And this, I think, is the narrative masterstroke they're hinting at. We see Varang forming what looks like a very uneasy alliance with Colonel Miles Quaritch. And remember, he's back as a Na'vi avatar, and seemingly in an even more vengeful posture after getting beaten last time.
Wait, hold on. Varang aligning with Quaritch?
Yeah.
That's not just betrayal to the other Na'vi. That's like giving your mortal enemy the keys to the kingdom, isn't it? Did the trailer give us any sense of the cost? What's Varang paying for that kind of power?
The implication, I think, is that the cost is secondary to her main goal, which seems to be revenge. revenge against the tribe she views as complacent, maybe, under Awa's protection, and specifically against the Sully family, who obviously represent Awa's faithful followers. So Varang is clearly using Quaritch's resources, his tech, his machinery, his military power to settle her own internal Na'vi score.
Okay, so Quaritch gets a brilliant Na'vi guide, foot soldiers who actually know this insane fire terrain. And Varang gets weapons, firepower she couldn't possibly create herself. It's a purely cynical marriage of convenience.
Wow, exactly. And if you connect the dots, the biggest threat might actually be coming from within the Na'vi themselves now. It suggests Jake and Neytiri are facing, well, it's like a civil war as much as an invasion.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer hints at tribal lines drawn, internal betrayal, all threatening any chance of a unified defense. Quaritch, the old enemy, has effectively outsourced his war to the Na'vi.
That makes Jake Sully's job practically impossible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He spent all that time trying to unite the clans against the Sky People. And now the Sky People are just sort of facilitating the Na'vi turning on each other.
And you can imagine the internal pressure must be hitting the Sully family unit incredibly hard. They're the symbolic heart of the resistance, yeah. But the trailer confirms they are heavily burdened, still emotionally fractured, clearly trying to recover from Netyam's death in the Way of Water, that devastating loss.
Yeah, that emotional weight is just layered right on top of everything else, trying to lead a divided nation while dealing with immense personal grief. It's no wonder the info suggests they're struggling internally. Conflicts, maybe even divided loyalties right there within their own family. The stress must be just crippling.
And that stress, that fracturing, it naturally brings us to maybe the biggest mystery hook of the whole trailer. The thing that has completely exploded the fan forums online. Spider.
Ugh, right, Spider. The human kid, Jack Champion's character. We saw him survive, obviously. A human raised by Na'vi.
Yeah.
But the trailer shows something that seems to fundamentally break the rules of Pandora we thought we understood. Tell us about this transformation. What are we seeing?
It's genuinely shocking. Visually, Spider, the human boy, appears to be breathing Pandora's air without an exopack mask. I mean, for decades, the whole conflict has hinged on humans needing tech to survive that atmosphere, and Spider seems to have just overcome that fatal limitation.
Okay, that is a monumental game changer. That's huge. Is it just some fancy new tech? Or is it something much deeper?
Well, based on the visuals, it looks deeper than tech. The trailer actually shows Spider connecting with native Pandoran creatures, not through human gear, but using what look like glowing tendrils, visually mimicking the Na'vi Q, their neural links. He's somehow bypassing his human physiology. It's wild.
Okay, let's just run with that for a second. If he's breathing the air, connecting mystically, what are the main theories buzzing around? Is it genetic manipulation? Maybe Quaritch's scientists trying to, I don't know, weaponize him somehow? Or is it symbiosis?
Yeah.
Has Pandora itself just chosen to integrate him over time, adapted him? Or, is it something truly mystical tied to Awa?
It really has to be one of those three, doesn't it? And each one carries massive implications for the story. If it's human genetic modification, Quaritch potentially has this terrifying new asset, a bridge between species who can breathe and interact like a Na'vi. But if it's symbiosis, if Pandora has organically changed him, that suggests that the world itself has fundamentally shifted its relationship with humanity, which would be this enormous spiritual counterpoint to Varang's rejection.
I kind of lean towards the mystical, given Varang's whole Awa has failed us thing. Maybe Spider's transformation is Awa's totally unexpected last-ditch move to show she does still have dominion by adopting this non-Na'vi child fully into the fold, like a biological miracle right in the face of all that volcanic devastation. It feels like the central mystery driving his character arc, and a lot of audience interest.
It certainly promises a deeply strange and fascinating journey for Spider, whatever the explanation. But regardless of the why, this change signals that Pandora, or something on it, is capable of fundamentally altering human physiology. And that is a massive gamble, narratively speaking, for where the franchise goes next.
Okay, moving on slightly from the big plot hooks, let's talk about the element everyone just expects from Avatar now, the sheer visual spectacle. And the trailer definitely confirms James Cameron is yet again pushing the absolute boundaries of VFX and scale. No surprise there.
Absolutely not. And the visuals aren't just eye candy. They really tell the story of this elemental conflict. The last film was so defined by water, wasn't it? Its beauty, its power. This one is defined by the terrifying beauty of destruction. We're seeing massive lava flows, entire forest just consumed by fire, the sky choked with ash. That contrast, fire versus water, it feels very deliberate, showing the full deadly spectrum of Pandora's environments now under threat.
And the scale seems to have escalated dramatically, too. We're promised not just big ground battles, but these immense aerial sequences.
Yeah.
And it's not just Na'vi versus human machines this time. We're seeing intense sky battles between Na'vi clans themselves, flying through volcanic plumes.
Yeah, it looks like a high-altitude volcanic war zone. It's the visual equivalent of an apocalypse, really, showcasing this huge scale of destruction and the dominance of this new, terrifying flame and ash color palette.
Okay, just to ground this in some quick facts for you listening. The core cast is back. Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, obviously, and Una Chaplin leading that new faction. The U.S. theatrical release date is currently set for December 19th, 2025. And based on, well, everything we know about Cameron, expectations of the runtime will probably be pretty lengthy again, confirming that ambitious scale.
And critically, this film isn't just a standalone story. It's not just Avatar 3. It carries the huge narrative weight of setting the whole trajectory for the planned Avatar 4 in 2029 and Avatar 5 in 2031. It really has to successfully launch this whole internal Civil War storyline and make it compelling for the long haul.
That's a massive burden for one film. Plus, they're clearly capitalizing on the momentum with connected media, too. There's a new From the Ashes expansion announced for the video game Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and it's releasing the same day. So this is a huge coordinated multimedia event all centered around this theme of fire, ash, and betrayal.
The franchise momentum is definitely fully engaged, yes. But I think the key takeaway really is that the narrative maturity seems to have deepened significantly. We're moving past the maybe simpler conflict of just blue aliens versus greedy humans.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize the main takeaways for you. If you remember nothing else from this whole deep dive, remember this. Fire and Ash looks like it's signaling a profound narrative shift, away from just an external fight for survival towards an internal, potentially catastrophic Na'vi fracture. Civil war, basically.
Right. And that fracture seems driven by two really critical elements we've discussed. First, the ideological threat posed by Varang and her philosophical rejection of Awa, a goddess she believes failed her people. And second, that deeply unsettling mystery surrounding Spider's new abilities, which challenges the very definition of who or what can belong on Pandora. Betrayal feels like it's going to be the currency of this war.
Which brings us right back to the deepest question the trailer really forces us to consider, doesn't it? Beyond all the spectacle, the lava, the sky battles, the fundamental challenge remains. When faced with this level of internal betrayal, this theological division, can Jake and Neytiri possibly unite what's left of the Na'vi to save Pandora? Is unity even possible anymore?
That's the essential political and emotional hurdle they face, absolutely. But let me leave you with maybe one final thought, something to mull over. Varang's philosophical conflict. It's compelling because it's rooted in something very real, natural disaster. If a deity, any deity, is supposed to protect all life equally, what happens when a devastating natural force, like a volcano, creates a whole group, a tribe, who genuinely feels abandoned, forgotten by their god? So the question becomes, will Awa's power, her influence, hold strong in the face of that kind of volcanic devastation and that deep existential skepticism? Or will this new tribe, the Mangkwan, ultimately prove that the Na'vi must rely only on themselves, forged in fire, not faith? That, I think, is the core why that makes Fire and Ash potentially so intriguing.